Welcome everyone to a taste of Shabbat at Behukkotay this morning. A yasher koach to everyone who helped this morning. Rabbi Grover, Rabbi Sachs, Chazan Kovari of course, and Reuven on the piano, and Ricky behind the scenes doing all the IT. I want to remind everybody to please look at the Behukkotay website for all of the programming. But in addition, if anyone has anything they need to share with me or the synagogue, please feel free to contact the office, 416-221-3433. Someone will answer your call. If there's anything you need, we're here for you because we are all in this together. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and stay safe.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Louis Sachs coming to you right outside the Behukkotay sanctuary. I, like all of you, wish that this Shabbat we could be gathered together in this room, singing, praying, sharing words of Torah. Sadly, that won't be the case. So again, we offer you another video, a Ta'am Shabbat, a taste of Shabbat. Some singing with Chazan Kavari, some words of Torah from Rabbi Grover, and hopefully this taste of Shabbat, just like a taste of matzah ball soup, brings back those memories and that sense of comfort growing up, sitting around the table. That this taste of Shabbat will bring back that same sense, the feeling of community, the feeling of love that we all feel here in this sanctuary. So please sit back, relax, enjoy. Stay healthy, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachim leShalom, Malchei Hashalom, Malchei Elyon. Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay na na day day na na day 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 na 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 day day na na day 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 na 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 day na na day 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 ay na na day day ay day 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 eshet chayil nimtza ורחוק מפנינים אביך, בטח בלב בלב ושאלה לא יחסר. די 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 ננה די די ננה די 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 ננה די ננה די 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 ננה די ננה די 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 ננה די 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 מי שלא אכל ברך ואמוני סבנו ואותנו כדבר אדוני צו מי שלא אכל ברך ואמוני סבנו ואותנו כדבר אדוני אזן 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 את עולמו אוהנו אוהנו אבינו אכלנו את לחמו ואת יינו ותיינו שתינו, על כן נודה לשמוע מהללו בפינו, אנו וינינו אין קדוש כאדוני. על כן נודה לשמוע מהללו בפינו, אנו וינינו אין קדוש כאדוני. צור מי שלא אכל ברכו אמוני, סבנו ואותנו כדבר אדוני. צור מי שלא אכל ברכו אמוני, סבנו ואותנו כדבר אדוני. צדיק התמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה. צדיק התמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה. שטוב עולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינבון בשיבה בשנים ורענגיו עוד ינבון בשיבה בשנים ורעננים היו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולתם צורי ולא עוולתם להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולתם
Most of us know that Judaism has a bunch of very developed laws and literature on the topic of proper speech. What kinds of expressions are permissible and what kinds of expression fall into the category of forbidden speech. For instance, among the more famous prohibitions is that of lashon hara, derogatory speech about a person, whether it's true or false. Rechilut is another one of those forbidden types of speech. That's falsely and maliciously trying to defame another person's character. One of the lesser known aspects of forbidden speech comes from this week's parsha. It's called Ona'at Devarim, hurting somebody else with your words. Whether true or false, whether public or private, it is forbidden to say anything that would cause somebody else pain or distress. The prohibition isn't explicit in the Torah. It's the rabbis who noticed that there are two verses in the Torah that both seem to say the same thing: do not afflict your fellow. So the rabbis teach in the Talmud, well, this verse is talking about two kinds of afflictions. One is onat mamon, afflicting someone financially. For instance, overcharging somebody, that would be onat mamon. But far worse, they say, is onat devarim, afflicting somebody with your speech. Here's an example of onat devarim. Somebody comes to you, a friend, with a new shirt on, and he looks great, and you say, beautiful shirt. And he says, thank you so much. I got it at a department store for $30. And you respond, $30? I know a guy who could have gotten it for you for $20. That's onat devarim. On the surface, it doesn't seem like a conversation that's too destructive. You even complimented your friend on his new shirt. But think about how he leaves that conversation. Now, instead of being proud of that shirt, he's going to be thinking about how much he overpaid for it. So if that's an example of onat dvarim, think about how far-reaching this prohibition is. And did you know that onat dvarim is even forbidden for children? Hurting children's feelings unnecessarily. There's a famous story about the Stipler Gaon of blessed memory. Rabbi Yaakov Yisrael Kanievsky was a very important Orthodox rabbi who passed away a few decades ago in Israel. One Shabbat, he showed up to a bar mitzvah uninvited and unannounced. And obviously, when somebody of that stature shows up at your bar mitzvah, everybody is surprised. So the parents came up to him after the service and they said, we're greatly honored by your appearance. Maybe the rabbi could explain what we did to merit this visit. He said to the parents, I'm not here for you. I'm here for your son. Some years ago on Rosh Hashanah, there were many kids in the hallway disturbing the service. I went out into the hallway, and your son was there in the corner, and I reprimanded him for disturbing the service. And he said to me, "Rabbi, I just came out here to find a book. It was the other kids, and when they saw you coming their way, they were long gone." The Stipler said to the parents, "Since that day, I have felt terrible about hurting your son's feelings. And I know you can't ask forgiveness from a child, so I have been waiting for his bar mitzvah so I could now come to him as an adult and properly ask his forgiveness." That's a true story. Hurting people's feelings unnecessarily. It applies to strangers, it applies to friends, it applies to children, it applies to family. I would say it applies especially to spouses. We have all read about how challenging this pandemic has been on people's marriages. Couples are trapped within the same walls all the time. The old escape valves that we used to have don't exist anymore. And those escape valves are important, particularly in stressful situations. It sounds cheesy, but the number one way marriages are going to get through this crisis depends on our dvarim, on the things we say. We have to be kind to each other. Couples have to be compassionate to each other, polite and considerate, being careful always of onat dvarim, of the words that we say, which can hurt our most loved ones. One more insight on onat dvarim in a time of pandemic. There is no question that the things we say to others about the pandemic can fall into the category of onat dvarim. First of all, if you are fear-mongering, not because you're concerned about somebody else's health, but because it is fun to share fear, that's onat dvarim. If you spread information without checking it, thereby spreading misinformation, which could do damage to people, that's also onat dvarim. Even if you have information that is true, but it is frightening information, maybe stories of people who have survived COVID, or nurses and doctors who treat people who haven't survived, or graphic kinds of stories that would be painful, even though it's true. And if you send it to somebody who you know will be terrified and that it will not help them, that too is a kind of onat dvarim. Titillation, that is excitement for its own sake, especially when it involves fear and life and death, it is not an acceptable endeavor in Judaism. Obviously, if you're sending something to somebody because it contains information that is true and that could be helpful for someone to protect themselves, that's okay. Or if you're sending stories to someone who you know can read it and absorb it and it won't keep them up at night and it won't rack their days with anxieties, that's okay. But we tend, I think, to forward too quickly and too casually things that we don't know are true or things that will be uselessly disturbing. And that is not okay. And remember, speech isn't just what comes out of our mouths these days. It is also what comes out of our fingers, what comes out of the clicks of the mouse and the typing of the keyboard. And because of the speed with which those words travel, we need to be particularly careful of that kind of onat dvarim, hurting people with what we express in this delicate time. So you see that in Judaism, We have to be careful about the food that goes into our mouths. That's true, and many of us are very careful about that. But in many ways, that is far less burdensome than the endeavor of trying to be careful about the words that come out of our mouths. May we use our words wisely. May we use them to help, to support, to comfort, to heal, to strengthen, to reassure. Even in this time of distance, may the words we use help to bring all of us closer together. Shabbat Shalom.
Kachtov natati lachem, todati al ta'azoru, Eitz Chaim hi, lama chazikim abah, Behar, Mehushar, Nerachea, Narchen Noam, Lechol Netivotea, Shalom. Yamenu kekedlen, Chadesh Yamenu Hey, Keloinu, hey, Kadonenu, hey, Kemalkeinu, hey, Kemoshienu, Micheloinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodele Loenu, Nodele Adonenu, Nodele Malkeinu, Nodele Moshienu, Baruch Eloenu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu sheiktiru Aboteinu, Lefanecha et ketoret hasamim. Na